Del Rio, Texas. Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive recorded live Saturday, 18 May 2013. Episode 67, Clean Up Your Act. Now in HD. Well, welcome once again to another episode of Two Guys Who Dive, and I'm your host, Rob Wade, and I'm here
with Robert Garza.
So, what you been up to, man? We haven't seen you in a while.
You know, I've become one of those type of people that's just gotten like I've gone to a buffet and just massively stuffed my plate with things to do.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? I really truly don't know how you do it.
It is tough. I mean, I have to admit, electronic calendar. It saves my day. I keep everything. If somebody even hints that they want me for something and I'm even considering it, I go ahead and plug it in.
Yeah. Because
you never know.
Yeah, right.
Because if I eventually say yes, I know that I've already got it in there. I just got to firm it up. But if, I can always delete it off there if I need to. But there's just so many things. I was just exchanging text with the leader. Oops. Ronan's making his grand appearance. He's always got to be fashionably late to the show.
He shows up right on cue.
All right, let's see if he says hi to Reed this time. Say hi. No? You're not going to look in the camera, are you? It's just like it's like a little kid. Like a little kid, you know, when they get shy, you know, they're all sorts of noisy and crazy until everybody's that they don't know is giving them attention. Then they're like, they're hiding behind the leg or something like that. But so anyway, I was exchanging texts with Richard Morneau, who is the leader of the contemporary Christian band I'm in, Living Water Sound. And we're trying to, we just had a number of different things come up. And we've been trying to get everybody together to continue working on the next CD that we're trying. We've got some of the songs recorded, but and it's just been really tough as we go into this season. And I said, okay, well, we've got half the group is not available for today. Mm-hmm. So how does next weekend, which of course is Memorial Day weekend,
right?
I said, so how's everybody doing as far as an opportunity there? And I said, Friday is okay, Monday is okay, Saturday is taken up because something we'll be talking about a little later. If we've got a plan in the works here, yeah. And I went ahead and sent him not a complete schedule, but a schedule of different things I have coming up as I thought it would pertain to him. And it's like every other weekend is eaten up with something.
Right.
And then not to mention that my regular week. I mean, if you look at my schedule, it's just crazy. It's just Monday, Thursday, and Friday on weeks that I don't have a dive class are my only truly free days. And that means that anything can plug it in there. And so that's my opportunity for spontaneity. Or those 3 days. Sunday, of course, is taken up pretty much with church for the most part. Saturday, a number of things end up coming up. We've got men's prayer breakfast or a car accident.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, what? So a number of things just start plugging into that. So I imagine yours is just starting to get about that crazy.
Exactly, it is. It started out with, okay, you start getting involved with church, and then it's all of a sudden everything just starts filling in, and I'm really just like, okay, people are like, can you can you help us out on this day? I'm like, let me check. I've gotten to the point like you, to where you have to actually look at the calendar, and then I have to also exchange my calendar with Sandy.
Right.
So that she doesn't plan something for us because we've got something going on.
You guys need to set up a family calendar.
Yeah. Well, that's
what Tara and I have. That's what Troy and the rest of his, he's got a big family.
Right.
That's what they have. I tell you, that comes in handy because she has her calendar. I have mine. And then we have the family calendar that we both hook into. So we plug in anything to the when we add a calendar entry, we choose which calendar right from the interface. And if it's anything that either of us, that if it's a case where both of us are going to be participating, I plug it in. If it's a case where I'm going to be the participant, but she needs to be aware of it because it might impact plans that she's going to be making, I'll plug it in there and vice versa. I tell you, that smooths out a lot of confusion.
Right. Well, that's kind of that's exactly what we're doing now, and it's kind of slowly starting to build up to where we weren't used to that. Most of the time it's like you call or you send a text. Oh, what do we got planned for tomorrow? And that would suffice, but not anymore. Now it's now we're gonna
and as the kiddos get older, you start having to make all these plans around what they're going to be doing.
Yeah,
and eventually they'll get to the point where they've got their little smartphones and they have to be, they can't. If little Johnny comes over and says, I want to invite you to a birthday party on such and of course their initial response could be like, "Oh, great! I'm going to a birthday party," but then they have to check the calendar now,
right?
Because maybe mommy and daddy have a plan to San Antonio Zoo or something like that, going. So,
but no, it was it's just gotten to that point already, and I never would have thought that I would have had that much going on that I needed to actually use a calendar, but I'm there. So.
Yeah. I tell you, you hate to be a slave to something like that, but if you want to balance your schedule in a family that is variously occupied and busy, you absolutely have to do that because there is nothing that can create strife in a marriage quicker than a confused schedule.
Yeah.
Well, every time I try to set this up, you're not available. I'm like, well, that's why I plug it into the calendar. So
and Sandy always tells me, well, what do we got going on this weekend? We'll check the calendar.
That's right. You got to break them in. Tara, I have to say, our producer and my wife, she is very good at working the schedule now. So that is definitely not a bone of contention in our household. Every once in a while, we'll run into a case where we accidentally put it in the wrong calendar. So you have to kind of check to make sure. I'm probably worse about that than anything because I have a tendency to be focusing on stuff that I'm going to be involved in because I am a little bit more busy than she is on a given week. But and I tend to over-obligate myself anyway. But so I have to be a little bit more diligent about making sure I do plug the right things. So I find myself sometimes creating a calendar event, plugging it into mine, and then realize, I think I better put that in the family calendar. So I'll drag it over to the family calendar, and no big deal. So
well, I'm there already.
Yeah,
so
it definitely helps. So we had our dive club meeting on Thursday, and I texted you to find out where you were.
Yeah,
we actually had a number of people there, and you were at where?
I was at the mall during the Law Enforcement Expo.
Nice. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Well, it was nice. They have it once a year. Border Patrol, Customs, everybody with the the deep pockets had all their really nice expensive toys.
All the toys.
All their toys. They had the helicopters out there and their
that was awesome.
Dogs.
I got to say.
Yeah, I mean they had the whole front. Of course, the local law enforcement, state DPS, everybody was there.
Right.
They all had their vehicles in there. The city, the chief of police was actually there at the mall. I had not met him, so I had a chance to meet him. Really nice.
Not to totally sidetrack you, keep that thought, but real quick, your first impressions of the guy.
He was very short with his conversation with me. I could not get a reading from the gentleman aside from he was very professional. He was very quick and just short and professional. It's a pleasure meeting you. It's an honor to meet you. And then, of course, people showed up to talk to him. So our conversation was kind of cut short. But still, I did not get to speak with him long enough to make an assessment as to what kind of person he is. But I do know from experience or from firsthand knowledge that he is kind of cleaning house. So
to say the least.
Yes. Good and bad. I do have a lot of colleagues that I know that work there or used to work there.
Yes, exactly.
And
I have a neighbor like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of going around stuff like that. I try not to pay too much attention to that.
Right.
But there's just a lot of things, and some people I do know had to go. I will say that.
Right.
But there are those that just kind of got fed up, I guess, with the, how can I put this? I guess with the pressure or the change, and just decided to go ahead and bow out while everything was still okay.
Right.
But
quit before you're fired.
Sort of. You got the ultimatum. But I don't know as far as the gentleman. I got to meet him briefly. But he was very professional with me. Yeah. Then again, I don't work for him.
Right.
So,
right.
But I did get the impression that, if he gets mad at you or something, he can unleash wrath. You can tell he's just got that thing about him.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, on about the armed forces, the Law Enforcement Day. Yeah.
It was nice. The dogs went ahead. The drug.
Who let the dogs out?
The Border Patrol. Border Patrol let the dogs out. They went ahead and did
I couldn't resist.
The Border Patrol went ahead and did a small little demonstration as far as the dogs, with suitcases and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of kids there. Really nice.
Really?
Yes.
Like, what would you say the average age?
Ooh, they were probably from maybe 3rd grade all the way up to high school.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
There was a good array of kids there, so it was nice. The parents were out in full force.
Okay. Cool.
Mommies, and I didn't see very many. I saw a lot of mommies with their kids. I just didn't see dads. I want to hope that they were working.
Yeah, because it was. Yeah, I actually took that day off. That's the reason why I saw all that stuff building up. But still,
But there was a lot. The federal agencies really came out in full force this time. Yeah. They always do, of course.
Okay, most impressive thing that you saw?
I can't really put one specific thing. I guess it was the military. They had a 50 caliber, a Barrett 50 caliber. That thing was looking pretty tempting to just
nice.
Go out to the back and shoot it.
There you go. There you go.
But
that would just really anger a lot of people right there.
Yeah, it would have been extremely loud. But nonetheless, it was.
But very, very satisfying.
It would. My shoulder would have been upset with me.
I was going to say.
It would have been nice to shoot it.
Nice.
I think overall it was really nicely done. It was extremely hot that day. Those that were inside were loving it. The ones that were outside were, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was 103 or something like that.
So they didn't trailer in those helicopters. They actually landed them there, right?
Yeah, they flew them down there.
Wow. I would be thinking, I guess I have to look closer. I'd be thinking, man, you got to kind of maneuver in through some power lines and stuff.
Well, there are some power lines there, so they had to kind of go back and up and out. So
nice.
It was pretty
impressive.
Pretty impressive.
That is cool.
I didn't see when they got there, but I definitely didn't see no trailer, so they flew them down there.
That is cool.
Yeah, so it was neat. But everybody was well represented.
Nice. Okay, let's jump into a little bit of tech news. DoD has now approved iOS devices. So now they've rounded out all the devices. Now you got the Microsoft, the Android, the BlackBerry, of course, and now iOS is in there. Mm-hmm. And of course, we've seen some of at the base. We've seen some of the message traffic coming through. Say, okay, guess what? You can now do iPads to do the tech manuals, because right now they've been using ruggedized laptops. And I'm like, ooh. Do you really want to hand something like an iPad to some of these Neanderthals. I mean, if they only paid attention to how many times we have to repair
the laptops,
or just flat out turn in for DRMO, these laptops. And these are ruggedized laptops, and they're just utterly destroyed by these people. You know, you're working on an aircraft, and you've got your tech data in front of you because you have to use the tech TOs in order to work on aircraft. And you have a momentary fumbleina, and then the thing drops down from the cockpit. I can just see an iPad, which is it would be nothing.
From a whole story down.
Yeah, they'd be doing a lot of FOD walk, you know, to pick up all the shrapnel and pieces that came off of that thing. So, but of course, now what that means is the race is on to see who's going to re-grab the dominance as far as actually being connected to the network. Because right now, none of the new stuff from anybody can connect to at least, DOD networks. You can use them and you can purchase them through government, and you can do standalone stuff. And, of course, you can't bring your own stuff.
Right.
So basically, they're just allowable for standalone environment. But so now it's going to be interesting to see the race kick into high gear with everybody saying, "Okay, now we got to be able to hook into the DoD networks."
Well, it's kind of like at the school. A lot of the administrators and some of the media graphic
department
labs that they have there at the school that are running Macs because they do the multimedia capabilities really well for video.
Yep.
They pretty much are standalone. They are now, I believe, on the network, but they don't want to have them on the network because they can't implement policy.
Oh yeah, global policy.
Yeah, they can't because it's not jiving with the network because we're running a Microsoft server network.
Yeah.
And for some reason they just can't get it to replicate on the domain. So when they push out policies, it doesn't apply to a Mac.
Yeah.
You know, it applies to a Windows machine, you know, to where you can't change your screensavers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a Mac is like a free reign.
Yeah. Exactly the same
and,
issue.
The other thing is also is a lot of the administrators now are crying that they want iPads. And I've seen a lot of them walking around with them. But to me, it's a waste because the only thing I've ever seen them doing with their iPad is reading their email. You know, they're
so how does that help them be teachers?
Well, you know, you're looking at the administrators only, like the principals. The teachers don't have them.
Yeah.
But for the administrator standpoint, I guess you would say, how are you being more productive as an administrator on the campus, walking around with this device, looking like, okay, you're taking notes. When you're not really taking notes, you're reading your email.
Right.
Or sending an email of something that you just saw or you witnessed, or, you know, you can write that down on a piece of paper and just go back to your office and send an email that way.
Yeah.
But hey, I didn't buy them.
Right.
You know, the district did.
Yeah, but that's our tax dollars right there.
I know.
Yeah.
Some of them, they wanted to use them for to check student profiles as far as pictures, and, you know, like if you see a student, hey, what's your name or so-and-so, and then you could type in their ID number and their picture would come out and stuff like that. They wanted to utilize it something like that, but they're not doing it, so I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, obviously there's a lot of potential.
There is potential for everything
to be used, but you don't want to put the cart before the horse, because then you're spending money for something that's going to be outdated probably by the time you implement the mechanisms that device would use. Like, you know, I can imagine a point very quickly where as students are registered, they get the picture, you know, full front profile, where software running on a tablet of any type could do facial recognition immediately. Boom, pop up. This is who that is. You know, especially for larger campuses. You know, smaller campuses, they tend to know everybody. And the ones who are always in trouble, or the ones who are really, really always good, you always know them.
Right.
But your general populace that aren't the valedictorians and not the ne'er-do-wells, you tend to go like, who were you again?
Or the bad ones. We remember the bad ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So,
again, like you said, I can see the potential.
Yeah.
But are they utilizing that technology to that degree? No.
Zachary. Yeah.
But
military, same way.
I remember I asked a question to the technology director or coordinator or whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
He changed his title so much because he doesn't have the requirements for the position.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I asked him one time, I go, hey, can we get Macs? And he was like, what are you going to do with it? You guys don't know how to use them. But I just asked him out of curiosity, just to ask him. And that was his response. I'm like, well, you'd be surprised with a lot of people what they can do and can't, some can't, obviously. Right. But just to say something like that, it's, to me was kind of
flippant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a shame.
So anyway.
Well, and just extending out a little bit on the Apple news, BGR reported that they've got some pictures of, I guess, some of the new internals for the iPhone 5S or whatever they're going to call it. Right. Probably, I'll bet it's the 5S.
It's the 5S, I believe.
But I mean, even though we're talking like nanometers, micrometers, we're talking really, really tiny changes here. But evidently, they've noticed like on the earpiece, the earplug, the SIM slot, even the vibrating mechanism, they're shaving some size off of there. So the speculation now is, okay, what is it that Apple is trying to make room for in this next version? So, of course, it could be anybody's guess. It's hard to tell just from those three examples and how much smaller they are compared to the 5.
Yeah.
The mechanisms in the 5. What might they be making room for? Have you heard any rumors?
The one of the things that I kind of heard was, of course, everybody wants to make room for bigger batteries because they want their devices to last longer.
Yeah.
You're putting bigger processors, or should I say not bigger, but faster processors to get these devices to do, multitasking. It's pretty much a desktop.
And LTE too. That just chews up your battery.
Man, big time.
It sure is fast.
It is. It's awesome if you go to San Antonio.
I love it.
Gosh. But the problem is, I think a lot of it is battery, since these things don't have replaceable batteries.
Right.
They're already internal. Yeah. But I really wouldn't see any other thing except for battery. Or
I'm throwing my guess behind adding NFC.
Maybe.
I'm throwing because they're the only one now that doesn't have it.
That's pretty much a standard now. It's a norm.
Yeah,
most devices are using that.
Yeah, exactly. Even the lowest end of the Nokias have NFC now. So, and of course, Android has got it in everything now. So, I'd be surprised if that doesn't make a play here in the 5S. Because then they can take advantage of all the neat little QI toys that are out there, because those are just now replicating like crazy.
The other thing too, because of the charge ports and everybody having to make all these things now, it's.
Or you're talking about the Lightning?
Yeah, and all of that. I know that a lot of people went ahead and accepted that as standard. Okay, a new phone or changing, let's just go ahead and buy it and everything else. But it is a little inconvenient, I gotta add.
Because you have all these devices you're going to swap to.
Well, the thing is, I had to buy an adapter. The adapter doesn't fit into my case. So it was kind of like, okay, now how do I
thought the adapter, are you talking about the actual Apple?
I'm talking from the 30.
Yeah, but are you talking about their Apple one or one of the third-party ones?
No, I'm talking about the Apple one.
And it doesn't fit?
No, it'll fit, but the thing is, when you have it like in an outer box case, for example.
Oh.
The bottom part.
It wasn't designed to open.
Exactly, it wasn't designed for that.
So that's like some of the earpieces on different the holes for the earplugs on a number of various cases.
Right.
If you don't have just the right type of connector on your earbuds or your headphones, you're not going to get it to fit in there.
There's one case right now. It's called LifeProof, and it is water resistant and everything else. So at the top of that, there's where the earphone jack would be it.
Right.
There's a special adapter that you connect to that comes with the case, so that because without it, you're not going to be able to reach the. Oh. So there's little things like that, and anyway.
Well, in time, it's one of those things that it was a great idea, but we didn't quite think it all out, realizing what third parties were going to do. So you have a choice to make as a company, as an OEM. You have to decide: do we want to, if I'm Apple, you ask yourself the question: do we redesign again adapters or plugs, or do we work with all the third-party folks to create their cases, their iHomes, all their other devices that have permeated the landscape in support of whatever? Do we work with them closely to accelerate adapting to the fact that we've got a new port? Right. So,
well, I guess we'll have to wait and see as to what they're shaving that space for. Yes. But I think you're right. I think it might be NFC or who knows. I honestly think they might make maybe a slightly bigger battery. But I did find out from there was somewhere I was reading that they are going to actually do something like a live tiles, or they're going to change. Remember I told you the OS, they're going to change the display of it or the look of it. That's what they're going to supposedly do. I don't think it's going to be live tiles because it'd be like a Windows Phone thing. Yeah. But they're going to change it something. To
where they're not quite so static.
Right. Yeah. It just looks so dated. And that's what everybody's been saying. Well, it's great device. It does this, it does that. It's it's in the hands of and it's in everybody's hands pretty much. But they everybody's complaining about, are you going to change those little icons and stuff?
Well, because Android, you could do anything with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sheer chaos. And, we went to see, and we're going to talk about the movie here in a second. Went to see Star Trek Into Darkness. Mm-hmm. The guy sitting next to me, we're sitting there waiting for the commercials and all that stuff. And they had the behind the Windows Phone commercial, the wedding one.
The wedding.
And the guy sitting, of course, there's me and the McGonagall. So of all of us, Tara's the only one that wasn't a Windows Phone owner. But the guy sitting next to me, I hear him start explaining Windows Phone to the guy next. He was with a bunch of his pilot buddies. Mm-hmm. And I looked over, he had a Samsung Focus. I said, awesome. I said, how do you like it? He said, I love this phone. He said, I've dropped this thing so many times and it hasn't even burped. I said, this is awesome. I said, that was my first phone. I now have the Lumia 920, but I said, that's awesome. He said, I thought I was the only person who had one.
No.
I said, no, the number's growing. I mean, they hit 6.5% worldwide. I mean, that's pretty impressive, and it's all because of Nokia. Nokia has pushed really hard, and I got to say, compared to regardless of the platform, I have to say that I've seen more leaning forward and updates, fixes, and just adding features from Nokia than any other company. Apple was pretty consistent. You could always depend on a rhythm with them, but if they found something wrong, unless it was devastating, they waited till their next update to push that out.
Right.
And Android is just all over the flipping place. You got 8 million versions of Android out there, and you never know if you're going to get updated. But Nokia has just really, when they blow it, they admit it immediately, and they go out and fix it. They push hard to get it fixed. So, I've always liked Nokia. But, when we left the world of the feature phone, they didn't have anything out there. So I'm very glad to see that they've taken their tried and true customer service oriented focus and pulled that forward into new territory.
And I don't know if you saw the posting about the new 925.
I haven't seen anything other than I saw the reveal. Yeah. And I've seen more traffic on the 928 because Verizon, everybody, Verizon is huge, only second only to AT&T. So everybody's been excited about the 928. What'd you see about the 925?
Well, it's just that it's pretty much the same phone. It's got different features on it. they're going to be pushing that thing pretty crazy from what I've been
But it's
reading.
on T-Mobile.
Yeah, it's
so
on
really,
T-Mobile.
unless you want to switch, what they've basically done, I think, at least looking closer at the 928, what they've basically done is said, the 920 is clearly a solid performer. There's certain features about it that if they want a Windows Phone, that's the one they're going to. But they didn't have that on T-Mobile or Verizon. Right. But they wanted to differentiate enough, so they've done some things different. You know, they're definitely, both of the 920 and 925 are thinner and lighter.
Yeah. Oh, well, one of the, I guess, the key things is that it's aluminum body.
Yeah.
So it's gotten a little more, I guess,
iPhone-ish?
Well, more
or Android-ish?
I guess both, a little bit of both, but supposedly it's lighter.
Yeah, it is lighter.
It's lighter, and it's a metal case, so it feels like it's maybe a little more sturdy for them. Either that,
I don't know anything that could feel as sturdy as this thing.
Either that, or maybe T-Mobile decided we need to make it aluminum or something for our customers, because we get a lot of broken phones back. I really don't know, but
what is it about T-Mobile customers? They like throw their phones or something?
I guess they throw their phones. All their phones are metal.
Yeah, that is true.
It's true. I mean, all of their phones are metal. So,
well, that's pretty cool.
But,
so it'll be interesting to see how well those actually do on Verizon. And but I saw something today, and then we'll get off the tech stuff. I saw something today where one of the websites had posted a kind of an analysis. What they call it? Basically, it's an analysis that shows a graph of how people move into new anything. And they said that they showed how the iPhone backed this graphic up and Android backed this graphic up. Basically, it's the idea of you have the innovators, and that's a small group, and then you have the first adopters who are like, I want to be Johnny on the spot, the first person who tries it.
Right.
And so that's still a small group. But then you have the early majority where it hits a threshold of about 15%. It hits a 15% point, and then it just explodes. Everybody was like, that's what I want, because it kind of catches on as the new meme. And then it peaks, and you have the late majority, and then you have the laggers that people, like all the people who are still on feature phones. They've not adopted anything. So it'll be interesting to see where the laggers actually latch onto.
Yeah.
But this guy was, he's not particularly a Windows Phone fan, but he's saying based on the huge jump, 27% jump for Windows Phone worldwide, that they're poised to follow that same track, so that in the next couple of years, if they cross that 15% point, his argument is we may see that actually just explode and take off. So then we'll see a 3 balance. Right now, Windows Phone absolutely is solidly in third place. They overtook BlackBerry. Looks like the that new BB10 didn't quite grab people like the BlackBerry people. They like their little thumb board.
They like the full keyboard,
Yep.
and that's just a standard BlackBerry thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I understand they were a little late and they wanted to try new devices and do certain things with it.
Yeah.
But Windows Phone, Android, Apple, everybody had already done that. They should have just stuck with their guns and
tried and true. This is what people like. They like the matter of fact. I saw, speaking of one of the things that people really liked about the BlackBerries is their little BB messaging system. I hear that's coming to iPhone. So that pretty much, if they do that, now they just call themselves BlackBerry. They might as well just be software. Yeah. They might as well just focus on the messaging stuff, the back end support for all the other platforms. Because
I was having this conversation with a friend of mine at Skillets, drinking some coffee, but we won't get into that conversation.
Coffee. Now Troy would beg to differ with you because he likes the coffee at what's her faces on the corner, Bedell and Gibbs.
Oh, Pico's.
Pico's.
Yeah.
He loves Pico's coffee.
No, I was referring to a comment that I did on.
Yeah, it's like he'd ever find himself in Del Rio, Texas.
Well, for those of you who, I'm not even going to go into the conversation because it was a heated conversation. Yeah. But if you caught it at all on Facebook, it was pretty interesting. Yeah. So anyway, we'll skip to that. We'll get.
So anyway, you were talking about you were having a conversation about BlackBerry messaging.
Oh no, No, I was just playing. I was just joking about bringing that up.
Oh, okay.
I was talking with a friend of mine.
Yeah, like you know it. All right, so last week, since you weren't here, I reviewed Oblivion and Iron Man 3. Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you like to share with everybody your impressions?
Oblivion, to me, was good. I like Tom Cruise. I do like his movies. This one was kind of a little out there. I went to go see it with Dominic, and it was more of yeah, sure, let's go see it. It was one of those that I wasn't like dying to go see. It was okay, little twisted, but overall it was just a slow paced moving movie up until when they found out that they were, he was cloned.
Yeah.
But overall I liked it. I thought the house up there in the clouds.
I want one.
One of those was
I
awesome.
want one.
With a pool like that.
Yes.
It just was awesome. Of course, you'd have to be alone to be doing what they were doing. But just
they were up in the flipping clouds.
But it looked so cool.
Oh, yeah.
It looked so cool with the moon, like, just broken.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just, with a skylight like that, I mean, oh, my
what
gosh.
View.
That was awesome. But it was actually interesting because you just never know, could that possibly happen?
Yeah.
Maybe years and hundreds of years from now, you just never know. But still, it was a good movie. I liked it.
So out of 10, you would give it?
I gave it about a 9 because I liked all. No, I'm sorry, about an 8 because I liked all of the graphics and the visual effect. It looked pretty cool.
It is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so rich. It was, and I mentioned this last week. I likened it to the vistas that they did for John Carter, which most critics panned the movie itself, but I thought it actually
visually
did
effect though was awesome.
I actually thought it did a very good job of sticking to the book. But for me, it was just breathtaking. I was like, man, the details that they put into this, it was just amazing.
It was awesome. Like I said, the way it looked with the clouds and the sky, just the way it was done. And then also Tom Cruise wasn't over the top like he is in some of his movies. He played a good solid character. Like, he wasn't doing crazy outrageous stunts. He was,
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Or am I? Yeah.
I mean, on a Mission Impossible, it's just,
you kind of take that with the
yeah.
So there, for the longest time, one of these movies that's in development hell has been a remake of Logan's Run. I would love, now that they can do all the stuff that they can do, I would love to see Logan's Run redone. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yep. It would be totally awesome.
Fantastic. And certain aspects of Oblivion brought that to mind. When he was down in the library, and it was obviously a trap.
It's like when in Logan's Run, when they step out of the dome, they find out that old man.
Yes.
And everybody's been led to believe.
Why has your face got cracks in it?
Why is it? Because they've been led to believe that after a certain age,
you go through carousel and you get renewed, or you hope to get renewed.
You die.
Yeah.
Pretty much, they kill you off because nobody old lives.
So for those of you who have not ever seen Logan's Run, and it's got dated graphics and everything and special effects, but if you want to, it's one of those early tales of what happens in a utopian society where you have to control the resources. Let me tell you, all I can say is Obamacare.
Yeah,
that's what the Logan's Run is. Obamacare. That's what's going.
It is.
The IRS will come and set you up. I was like, okay, you've reached that age. We'll have to bring you through carousel and see if you can get renewed.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty good movie. If you've not seen it, it is dated.
Hey, and Jenny Agutter. I just got to say, Jenny Agutter. And a very young Farrah Fawcett.
Very young.
Yes.
Actually, I think that was pre-Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yes. That was definitely pre-Charlie's Angels and pre-Lee Majors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But really good movie.
Yeah.
Cool. They're the actual men who go and kill them, they're called Sandmen.
Yep.
Which is, I thought that sounds pretty cool.
I know.
Oh, you're a Sandman.
You're going to put me to sleep.
Yeah. But good movie, Oblivion. I liked it a lot.
Okay, so how about Iron Man 3?
Oh, that's a 10.
Is it 10? Okay.
It's a 10.
Now, let me ask you this. Of the 3, where would you place it?
I liked the first one because it he's first becoming Iron Man.
Right.
But this one I'd give it a very, because I always liked the first ones. I always liked the first movies.
Yeah.
To me, the first one is still number 1. This one I give it a very close number 2. The second one to me wasn't all that.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
It was entertaining.
But it wasn't all that.
I'm not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan at all, but I thought she definitely nailed it in this movie.
And this one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked the skydiving, or the when I saw it was in 3D.
Yeah.
And the part where they fell out of the plane and they're falling.
Oh, that was amazing.
I was like, man, that looked awesome.
It did.
And I was like, I don't think that was CGI. Well, sure enough, it wasn't. There was actually a skydiving team that did that.
Wow.
Yeah. So the only thing that they CGI'd was, of course, Iron Man picking and grabbing them and saving them. But the actual
doing the linking and everything.
Right, the actual
that
free fall
awesome.
and everything were actual skydivers doing it. So that's why, and then it was shot in 3D, so it looked awesome.
Oh yeah. It was very, very good.
Yeah. So that was an awesome scene.
All right. So have you seen Star Trek?
I have.
Okay. When did you see it?
I unofficially saw it on Wednesday.
Unofficially? Oh.
Yeah.
You went to the late show.
No, I saw it before that.
How did you do that?
There's a secret. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's push forward.
Okay. So anyway, impressions?
I really did not see Khan coming.
Really?
Yeah, because I really hadn't seen, to me, paid attention to the previews and all of that stuff. I kind of wanted to see it just to see it. So when I got in there was really no one in the theater except myself and a few other people, and got to see it in 3D. And it was, I liked it. When this guy was just like totally beating down the Klingons by himself, I thought, wait a minute. This guy's just overhuman. When
I knew it had to be him when Kirk was just beating him and nothing. I was like, okay, because that reminded me of Space Seed, which was the original series episode where the character of Khan first shows up.
Right.
People would try to hit Khan and he just kind of flinch it off. And then when he asked about the torpedoes, he said, how many of them? When he said 72, he dropped his weapon and said surrender. I was like, okay, that's all the rest of the crew. I knew immediately I was like, okay. From that point on, the rest of the movie was very predictable for me.
Yeah, it was.
I knew even though they reversed the roles, Spock and Kirk saying and doing certain things, which I was a little bit upset about. But I knew every time they were going to say or do certain things, I was like, okay, here's what's going to happen. So it became once that happened, the rest of the movie was fairly predictable.
Yeah. I didn't see Kirk dying, and then they redid the whole
the reverse
from the Wrath of Khan, when he dies and all of that. I'm like, that's supposed to come later.
Yeah.
But hey, they did it in this one. I was surprised to see actual Leonard Nimoy come out in it again.
Well, I'd heard he had a cameo, and I was trying to figure out up to the point where he showed up where the cameo came in. But as soon as he said, I'm reluctant to, I told you I wasn't going to tell you things that would, change your destiny. Mm-hmm. Having said all that, and then explain how dangerous Khan really was.
Right.
How did you defeat him? I'm like, okay, I see exactly where this is going, because it was the Genesis weapon that they set off in
right.
They set him up, and so I'm like, well, he'll just use the torpedoes. He wants his crew back. I'm like, he's gonna. That's why he got Dr. McCoy and he got Marcus down there. He said, I'm like, hey, McCoy's gonna get all the popsicles out.
Yeah, and not only that, I was actually surprised to see Dr. Carol Marcus, come out in this one, because she makes an appearance in the Wrath of Khan. Of course, she stays on the ship, so I'm gonna assume that her and Kirk, Well,
you caught the small snippet of conversation at their last conversation there on the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to the family. And she says something like, well, I've always wanted a family, or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've always wanted a family. So that's where they're gonna consummate, and David's gonna come out.
Yeah. So literally.
Yeah.
So here are the problems I have with it. It was entertaining. It was definitely one of these, where you're gripping. Tara and I were like gripping each other's arm, at different scenes. But okay, the Enterprise underwater. Sorry. I don't accept that at all. That's just plain stupid. The knowing Space Seed, knowing all the Star Trek stuff, the fact that Khan was found by the Enterprise during its 5-year mission, which of course they had yet to start on.
They were burning
in this movie.
This
yeah,
one,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, that's just not right. Because they haven't gone into deep space to find the derelict Botany Bay ship. So you get a little bit of a backstory that
because
of the destruction of the Vulcan homeworld in the first movie and a number of other things, and you have a warmongering admiral going out and searching for weapons he can use, and he runs across. I'm like, no, that I don't accept. So that was Abrams taking huge liberties with the timeline. It just doesn't fit, given the things that in the timeline would have changed and things that wouldn't have changed. And I still do not accept the whole Spock and Uhura thing. I'm sorry, not in any universe would Spock be getting busy with another crew member, certainly somebody who is under him in rank.
Well, I thought it was funny when they were like, are you guys fighting?
I know.
And then when he says, how do y'all do that?
Yeah, exactly. How does that even work?
And then the doors open and he's just like,
What?
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely, the dialogue was well written. It was well played off. But
yeah.
I'm just sorry. I was just gnashing my teeth at that whole bit. What else? There was something else I looked at. I was like, no, wait a minute. That just doesn't. It'll come to me. But there were a few things that just totally bothered me. And then the fact that it was so predictable once I knew, once I was fairly certain it was Khan, and then obviously once he even admitted it was, the rest of the movie was totally predictable. The only thing that I didn't quite expect was, I thought when Kirk died, immediately when he was dying, when he was getting ready to breathe his last breath, I whispered over to Tara. I said, McCoy shot some of Khan's blood into that tribble. Right. I thought he's got some of Khan's blood.
Yeah.
So he'll realize that he'll be able to bring Kirk back to life. Well, obviously I kind of anticipated things going on behind the scenes that hadn't happened yet. The reaction, the actual success of reviving the tribble hadn't happened yet. I thought, well, obviously it's going to work, and I figured that they had some blood in store, and they would bring him back, and then they would both go after Khan. Well, no, as it turns out,
Spock.
There was a great battle. That was pretty awesome.
That was awesome. The fight and the way he was just jumping. And,
oh my gosh! My knees hurt watching that.
But still, the guy who played Khan did an outstanding job. The character, the way it was played, was great. I mean, this guy was like unstoppable, just like Ricardo Montalban was.
But he didn't have the prosthetic chest that.
No, he didn't have it. That's what. That was another thing. This one stayed realistic. Aside from the guy is just unbeatable.
Yeah.
But he was genetically engineered that way, so it was pretty neat.
For the briefest of moments when when Kirk gives Scotty the coordinates, he says, I'm not sure what you're going to find there, but I think you're going to recognize it when you see it. I thought somehow they was going to pull up and that was going to be Space Lab Regular 1.
Something. Yeah.
That was going to be like, okay.
But no, it turns out it was the secret dock for that
the
awesome
dreadnought.
The
and then,
ship.
of course, and as soon as he got into the dock, the dry dock, I told Tara, I said, Scotty's going to be on board. And sure enough, when it shows up, I'm like, Scotty's on board.
Well, when it shuts down, I know I'm like, okay, Scott's on board.
Yeah. Well, I knew as soon as it showed up. I'm like, there's no way Scotty's not on there. So again, the movie was very, very predictable at that point. Still plenty exciting. Well done, but just predictable.
I liked the graphics of the 3D also. I thought, when the ship came out of the water, I thought it was a little much, but when they were leaving the atmosphere, when that ship was cutting through the clouds, the Enterprise, it looked awesome. That
was pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
All right. Well, now that we're actually going to talk a little bit about diving stuff, I was reading about, of course, Tara and I are going to Grand Cayman this year for our dive trip, and we're going to be staying at Compass Point. The dive outfit that they work with is Ocean Frontiers, and there's this group out of Colorado called Teens for Oceans. They've teamed up with Compass Point and Ocean Frontiers in Grand Cayman to deploy a live feed webcam. And I'm going to see if it was... I was watching it earlier, but of course it's probably... You can't see anything now because it's probably dark. Yeah. It's dark now, so all you see is black. But this is how good the picture is. And I'm going to bring this up on the screen region here. Hello. Where's my screen region? Let me try and add
We're
this
actually
back.
at a night dive right now.
That's right. It's
a live cam right now. We got to...
There we go. That was weird. So this is what if you go to oceanfrontiers.com/webcam during the day, obviously, this is how good the picture is. Somebody actually did a screenshot of it. And basically, it's playing 24/7. A couple times I've hit it and they've been kind of offline and they have to reboot something because it's the feed is pretty cool because here's what it looks like underwater, the actual camera.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's in pretty shallow water. It's only in 8 feet of water. And so then they obviously have the cable running. It's 1,000 feet off their dock. So when you're looking at this, it just, and you see all these fish hanging around. It's that clear.
Yeah.
That's how gorgeous it is.
What you got to do is when you're out there, you got to definitely go and swim up to the camera and say,
wave hi. That's it. I'll break out my my little underwater clipboard and just hi down there. That would be pretty cool. But that's a kind of a nice deal. They've also laid out some sensors and things like that to kind of survey the area and what the life is doing there. But I think that's pretty cool. A group out of Colorado, kids out of Colorado, going down there and working with these organizations to do this is pretty cool. But yeah, so if you're bored and you just want to throw something better than just one of those little fake aquarium deals on your screensaver,
you can put a real
you
one.
can put this on there and go full screen with it, and you actually watch live. And you never know, you might find divers swimming by there. Pretty cool.
A shark.
You might see even me.
There you go.
That would be pretty cool. But so that's pretty cool. That's Teens for Oceans. Teens number 4 Oceans, and they teamed up with Compass Point and Ocean Frontiers. A little bit more on the Dive Club website. Of course, we've been doing some improvements to get that up and running. And let me switch back to screen region here. So you can see it's much more active than it used to be. Go through, shuffles through different images as well as where you can they're clickable. I've added the calendar to it. There we go. And this is now integrated with our Facebook page. So when we add events in Facebook, they show up here.
Cool.
So it integrates with it's pulling all of our stuff together.
There you go.
Slowly but surely. So, so as we do different things, you can either check it out on the Facebook page or certainly on the website. So more ideas as I see how to make it work. Yeah, because I'm learning a lot of this stuff new because all of this runs on a Linux server. So I'm like, okay, gonna figure out. And then it's a WordPress based site. You know, it's funny how WordPress. It's funny how WordPress is a blogging site, but it's also a platform for content management because it's very easy to update things. And so a number of these developers have created a number of themes that have built-in scripts, built-in templates for doing things. And so it's very easy to load some of these themes and really do some cool.
Yeah.
You're looking at our page there. To do some cool stuff with that is more than just a blog, but it's so easy to post blog stuff on there. So I with the WordPress app on my phone, I can be anywhere. And if I need to, I need to do a page on that, I can very quickly just bring up the app, type in the post that I want, throw a picture or map or whatever on there and post it, and it's then updated onto the website immediately. So I can be anywhere. If somebody tells me, "Oh, we ought to do this," cool. It's now on the site.
When you had texted me, "Hey, go check this out," because you were still kind of tinkering with it.
Yeah.
I was actually at Salah's Burger eating a hamburger. I was like, let me bring it up. So I went ahead and brought it up on my phone, and then that's when I kind of told you, well, I see this and this.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, let me check it out. But no, it looks great. Yeah. It looks awesome.
So, little improvements here and there.
Slowly but surely.
All for your benefit.
Yes.
So, well, the poor old Lake Amistad keeps going down.
So is the Botany Bay out of water already? I'm going to assume it is.
Well, no, but I definitely want to do a dive to get out there and check it out. A friend of mine sent me some pictures. They went out on a boat to up Evans Creek, and they were taking a look at that ranch house.
Yeah.
We've been diving. When that was in 40 feet of water.
Yeah, we dove that thing.
We dove on this ranch house, and you got to see what it looks like now.
Oh, wow.
This used to be, folks, 40 feet underwater. Absolutely incredible. Oh, we got somebody in there. Nick Van Winkle is in there.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
He said, oh, spoilers. Nick, you haven't seen the movie? I'm ashamed.
What's going on, Nick? You need to be in here in the studio with us.
Yeah, we had a great time with Nick the last time he was in here. He said I was looking through the new website. If you have enough pictures of local divers think a gallery section would be nice. Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And actually, with this particular theme, it's easy to do galleries. So these kinds of things would be good too.
Wave. He wants us to wave. Well, you can't see us right now, Nick, so I'll wave at you when we get the pictures off.
Well, I can. That's the cool thing is I can switch. So there we go.
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Nick,
you got your seat right here.
That's right, and a better microphone as well.
That's right, and I even got a signal sausage waiting for you.
Oh, stay away. Just stay away. So anyway, back to Evans Creek. So this thing was under 40 feet of water, and I looked everywhere. I can't find the pictures.
Oh, man.
Because I had pictures I wanted to show, because a number of the pictures are almost the same angles that they got of it here. So let me switch.
Is the...
It's a little bit closer.
Wow, that thing looks like it's
I
brand
know.
new. They look like they restuckled it or something.
Exactly. Look at that. And we've been diving all through this, but it's so weird to see it when it's not all green.
God. Exactly. When we dove, that visibility was decent.
That seat is for divers, Nick says. I need to actually dive before I'm allowed back in that seat. Dude, check the website. We'll be talking about this in a minute, but we've got a big group dive we want to get going next weekend. We'll share a little bit more on that in just a few moments.
God, but everything looks exactly the same when we dove on it.
Exactly.
Did they take pictures of the outhouse?
Yes, I think so.
I swam through that thing.
Yep. Remember cruising through here. Yeah, it's so weird to see it like this. Yeah, I remember cruising right over this mess. It looks so different in the daylight. There we go. We swam through here too.
You were in there. You took a picture of me looking inside that window.
Yes.
That's a picture I was looking for. Like I was gonna say, bring up that picture.
So that's interesting. I never really got my orientation straight on how this was all situated. But here's Evans Creek. So when we dropped on it, when we came through the left side here, and looked out here, for some reason I was thinking this window looked to the south.
Yeah,
but it's actually looking to the west.
I thought it was pointing south.
This is basically looking. If you're looking back over Evans Creek, it's also looking back towards Diablo East and all of that. Mm-hmm. So wow, that just changes everything when you see your orientation in the surface. So
yeah, I actually was looking into that window.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. You need to find those pictures.
I do, I really do, and then I need to pull them up here and see, and maybe next week if I can find those anywhere, and try and do some side by sides with this. That's just remarkable.
God, it looks like it's brand new.
Yeah, it looks like they're ready to add the rest of the stuff to it. Wow.
I followed that brick wall, all that rock wall, all the way around, and there's like a little dip. There's like a little ditch. Remember, there was kind of the metal things to kind of drive over.
Mm-hmm.
I saw all of that. That was exposed.
Wow.
That's
Isn't that amazing?
That was under 40 feet.
That was a great dive. The visibility was not all that great, but yeah, it is. Oh no.
That was my first dive with my Aqualung Legend.
Was that your first dive with that?
That was with my regulator when I got it.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We had our dive club meeting on Thursday, as we do every third Thursday, and we were discussing, among other things, who was going to be available for the upcoming trips to Balmoral. But then we also were talking about doing the South Padre thing, doing the tons of steel. Yeah. And we kind of settled on a weekend. We're now we've now set it at the 10th of August, which is just before school comes back in. Basically, you'd want to go down on a Friday night kind of thing because you got to get out to the boat at like 6:30 in the morning. It's $225 per person, which is really reasonable because they boat you out there. You get breakfast and snacks and water and sodas and that kind of stuff. And then it's it's a 3-tank dive. So you get to do a clipper, and you get a Texas clipper, and you get to do off of one of the abandoned oil rigs. So put that in your calendar, 10 August.
Yep.
Definitely want to do that. We've got to get you in the salt water, man. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
How much was it? $225
per diver.
Okay, cool.
So, and of course we've got our various Balmoral trips coming up. There was actually supposed to be one this weekend, but I think it kind of fell apart because everybody had something else going on. And just kind of a weird weekend anyway. So, if you've been following our new and improved website at all, or our Facebook page, mayhaps you have seen some traffic talking about our what we want to do next weekend. Started out as we definitely want to do a group dive because we haven't had one yet, and the weather's now warm enough to make it worthwhile. The challenge with going out to Lake Amistad, of course, is that the water keeps dropping, and there's fewer and fewer places that are easily accessible without a boat. And then it occurred to me that the other option that we would have would be going out to San Felipe Creek, which is nowhere near as exciting a dive. It's certainly not deep, but we haven't done a cleanup in a couple of years. So right. I thought, well, what better way? Why don't we couple a group dive with the doing a cleanup? That way, other family members who are maybe not divers can come along and they can help be the shore support, because and I know right. that we need people on the shore as we're picking stuff up, all the trash and everything that's out there. We need to be able to hand that up so we aren't climbing in and out of the water the whole time. And then just do a cookout with that. We'll bring the mobile dive center down there so we have plenty of air, some gear for people that maybe don't have gear. And we'll have plenty of air, and we can just knock out some dives, and it'd be a good opportunity for those who haven't been diving in a while,
right?
To get out there and refresh.
You'll be in about 10 feet of water. Yes, there's a little bit of current when you go a little further out.
Yeah.
But it's clear water. As long as you don't stir up too much of the floor, but it clears out pretty quick because of the current that's there.
Yeah. But it's not too bad in most places.
No.
As you get closer to Tardy Dam, which is essentially where we gather, it gets definitely stronger. It can push you up right up against there.
Yeah, well,
right almost, on over it.
It almost threw Tom over.
Yeah, Tom was beached.
he was struggling to fall back over the other side.
Yeah. So we on a couple of occasions, we've gone to New Braunfels to participate in their big trash fest. But, I've always wanted to get something like that going here. If we could just get a city government that actually was consistent in doing the whole cleanup thing and would let us know well ahead so we could organize this. It's one thing when they do, the citywide cleanups, they can just grab a bunch of trash bags and make that happen. But it takes a little bit more preparation for us.
Yeah, the old mayor used to do a yearly cleanup, and we would know ahead of time. We would prepare. We would tell them we're going to participate. This is where we're going to be. We even had city support.
Yes, it was great.
It was awesome. This last time they had a city cleanup or a park cleanup. I don't know what it was, but it was unannounced. It was really quick.
Surprise!
I called Rob on it, and I was like, hey, I just found this out. He was like, really? I didn't know anything about it. And they had it 2 days later. But had we known, we would have definitely participated in that because we like taking advantage of cleaning up our beautiful city.
Yep.
There are a lot of people out there that take advantage and they go ahead and dirty it all up. I don't agree with that, but it gives us the opportunity to get in the water and do our part to try to help clean that place up. The kids swim around there. We've run into some serious debris inside of the water. That can definitely hurt someone. If we have a hard time getting out of the water, it will most certainly. I've said this before. Last time I was there, just right there where everybody jumps into the water, I found a huge board with a bunch of nails, and it was pointing up. So we were lucky enough to find that on my way out. I accidentally hit it with my fin. And moved
it's a good thing that wasn't your foot.
Yeah, I know. But we were able to get it up out of the water, and it was just full of rusted nails.
Yeah.
No telling if somebody had actually stepped on it or cut their foot with it. But luckily, that was right there, just right off, like not even a foot from where the kids jump in.
Wow.
So, but we've found barbecue pits.
Yeah. Aquariums. Plenty of baskets, shopping carts,
tires.
Which I got a video of the one, a couple of pictures of one that's still down there.
Just all kinds of stuff. So, and granted, the park is there when people have their cookouts for Easter and all different types of occasions. It is breezy, so a lot of the trash gets blown off their tables and ends up, guess where? In the water. They don't go and get it out because sometimes it blows it way over to the other side, and obviously they can't get it. So we come in and we try to do our part, but we definitely would like the city's help.
Yeah, absolutely.
We would like to help the city definitely, but
right.
We just got to be aware of these things,
Well ahead. Well, because it's not something that. Yes, I have the dive trailer, which affords a certain degree of mobility, but getting all the people that we would need to get together to really make a successful cleanup dive doesn't happen by accident, doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it's hard enough to just get people who are available to dive just recreationally, much less for an effort like cleaning up. Mm-hmm. And as ScubaBob was saying, the creek needs a lot of cleaning up. It's looking better every year, and there's a number of improvements that are being made, but people use it. People are generally filthy. They throw their stuff on the ground, or the wind blows and knocks it out, and they don't make any effort to chase it down. So where does it end up? It ends up in the creek. And so it ends up sinking to the bottom, and you just find all sorts of garbage down there. Yeah. So we have an opportunity as a group to be part of the solution. And it doesn't take a lot of effort for those who are divers, because it is so it's so shallow, but we need the shore support. You know, as ScubaBob was saying, when we get the big trucks with chains and everything, because some of that stuff is buried so deep in the silt, and some of the foliage has grown around it. We'd try to get 5 divers on some of this stuff and pull it up, and you're just like, straining everything you have, trying to pull it up, and you can't. So having the chains and the trucks and the cranes and everything to be able to pull stuff out is helpful. But just having friends and family who can't, who aren't divers, who can't dive because they're, dealing with sciences, or they're pregnant or something like that. Being able to be on the shore as we hand stuff up is really very helpful. Otherwise, we'd have to kind of split up the diving. Right. So what we're looking to do then is next weekend, since it is Memorial Day weekend, and for a lot of us, we actually are going to have the Friday and the Monday off. So that's a lot of time off for those who aren't maybe going out of town. If you're a diver or a non-diver and just want to help, we'd like to enlist your participation in the 2013 San Felipe Creek cleanup, or what we call dive and clean.
Dive and clean.
Yeah, and basically we'll meet out there on the Saturday and kind of come up with a plan. Nothing as elaborate as like they do with the Trash Fest. Trash Fest, they have this big competition. You can enter as a team, and you can win such things as prizes for the most unique thing pulled out. They do it at the Comal River, or the prize for the most weight pulled out. Yeah. Or the most items. If you do it by items, like the most number of bottles or cans or whatever. And so they have these different competitions. So you can, when they have a lot of sponsors and everything, and it'd be great if we could ever get it to that size. But I'm okay with us just getting it to the point where we get a number of divers and non-divers together.
Just to get it clean.
Yeah, clean it up. And it's a good opportunity to dive in a very, very low challenge environment, especially for those who haven't been diving for a while. It's a great way to do a kind of a refresher. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that kind of boggles my mind a little bit also is that you have those houses just on the other side of the creek that are doing these nice little gazebos.
Oh, yeah. I showed a picture of the one. Man. And that was gorgeous.
These people obviously have money. I mean, they have a deck probably worth my house, and they nice, location and everything. But why would they, in other words, I think if I had the money, I would probably pay people, hey, do me a favor. You guys do this, I'll front you a little bit of cash if you guys.
Oh no, see, that would be kind of cool.
Kind of clean this up for us, because this is my backyard,
right?
After all, right. So that would be.
I was gonna see if I could find one.
That would be awesome. Oh, one of the pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna see if I could find.
They got some, decks out there, like, just awesome. Good Lord, man, the lake is so.
I know.
That's scary.
I thought I had it in the show archives, but I guess not.
Oh well. Yeah. But anyway, they have some really nice houses on the other side of the creek, and they've done some gazebos and other things out there. So really nice. If we could clean it up, make it just that much more beautiful for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that just on the surface is just all heavy silt and everything. I was sharing a couple episodes back when I was out there testing out the new camera.
Yeah, that's right.
That camera. And these kids had tossed their little ball, and it ended up on the other side, on the other bank, right by that house that's got the really nice concrete deck right at the water. Well, it was in amongst the hydrilla, and I'm trying to swim over there, and I realize it's all like mud right there. So I'm literally clawing across the foliage and the mud. I'm like covered. No, it was horrible. I'm like, you kids better appreciate this.
Well, when we were doing a cleanup one year, remember it was you and me.
Yeah.
We were trying to get that aluminum sign.
Oh, yes.
Out. And you and I were like, we were fighting. I was exhausted by the end of that. That was the last thing that we got out, by the way. Because we stumbled out.
Beat.
God, it was buried in about 2 feet of mud. And when I got out, my whole suit was covered in mud. It took me like 3 washes to get all that mud out. But it was horrible.
Nick's asking in the chat room, he said, any idea what time on Saturday you'll be getting together? I'll need to figure out what to do with my child. And that is a concern. Of course, obviously, depending on the age of the kid, the kiddos, you could actually have them participate. What better way to learn how to help be a good steward? And people know me, I am not a tree hugger, okay? but I do believe God put us on this earth and said, you know what, you have dominion over it. Be good stewards, and that's all part of it. Mm-hmm. And so that starts early. Raise your children up in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart. So that's a good thing to do. So I think we're looking at probably starting like 9 o'clock. We don't want to be too early because people are like, I want to sleep in. But at least starting, assembling at 9 o'clock. Again, since we're going to make a cookout out of this too, it's going to be kind of an all-day-ish kind of affair. We want people to feel relaxed, be able to go through, like I said, I'm going to have the trailer there so we can go through as much air as we need to.
Also, too, since it is it is a holiday.
Yeah.
The park fills up with people, so we need to get there kind of early to get a good spot, get the trailer there.
Yeah, we'll probably have we've got 2 of the big gazebo tent things.
Yeah.
So we'll probably we always have one in the trailer, but we have a second one coming in there.
Be expecting, if you do go to participate, be expecting there to be a lot of people in the water when we're pulling these things out. So be mindful that it's not just going to be us out there. It's a park.
Right.
So there is people that are there, and usually we tend to get asked a lot of questions.
And that's okay because that's a good outreach for us.
Right. We have parents, we have little kids. Oh, what are y'all doing? Well, we're just trying to clean up a little bit, getting all your trash out. But it's awesome because we come out, we go in looking nice, but we come out looking like creatures of the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
We come out with seaweed all over us. But it is quite fun. It is really neat. You do get to talk to people that are out there because they're going to ask you questions.
Yep.
So, just come out and hang out.
Nick says, okay, I guess his kiddo's got a soccer game, and so he'd be out there after the game. And then that makes sense. And that's fine. Again, there is so much stuff to be cleaned up down there. So
a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So there's plenty of opportunity to be part of the cause. So yeah, we'll put more information up on the Facebook page and the website. I'll go ahead and put it on the events and Facebook, so it'll show up on the calendar on the website as well. Yeah. And again, also put all of our other events on the calendar, which, as a matter of fact, I think we're just about. Oh, you know what? Just before we do the administrivia, I got one more thing I want you to see.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it if it's about...
No, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Let's see if I can do it here. Let me go back to screen region. Oh, no. Internet Explorer stopped working. You can't stop working. Well, that's interesting. It doesn't show up on this screen. Refresh. Let me switch back to here while I try and get this. You got to see this.
Is it a baby picture of me?
No, it's not a baby picture of you. That's funny. Glad I saved it for my favorites. I've got a fly in here that's just really wanting to eat my lunch.
If you have a business, you have a story.
No, I don't.
Okay, we got a story. Rob is actually in business as a scuba diver. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Don't know how many times I've been crossed off the list and left for dead. So this
Riddick.
Yes.
Nothing new. Bounty hunters.
I've been hunting ready for 10 years.
And some may recognize Katie Sackett from Battlestar Galactica.
Your head in a box, right
Starbuck.
here.
So yet again.
I knew Starbuck, and she was no Starbuck.
Nope.
This is a man who sees in the dark. So watch out for surprise attacks.
What is it?
You're doomed.
One down. 3 down. You get where I'm going with this.
Again!
Yikes.
Hold him down.
What is happening?
Time's up.
Yeah, let's cut him loose.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
September, to be precise.
Wow.
That is going to be intense.
Yep.
I think, well, critics panned the second movie. I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was, as far as it was the magnificences and everything. And I thought I saw in the cast list that the guy who played Bones and plays
Yeah, Carl Urban.
Vaco, yeah,
Carl Urban.
he is reprising his role in this
wow.
movie. So I don't know if it's just in the beginning. Well, I don't know if it. Well, because he wasn't dead at the end of the second one, but this one looks like it has much more in common with the first one. In fact, those creatures kind of reminded me like off the same evolutionary kind of chain, if you will, of the hammerheads from the
Pitch Black.
From Pitch Black.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought that his character would have had the longevity? Because it truly was an ensemble cast in the first movie. And then to just break out and like, oh, you know what? That character's got some legs on it. You know, the anti-hero.
I thought with Pitch Black, I thought that was going to be it. And then when the Chronicles of Riddick came out, I really didn't like it that much. I liked Pitch Black better. So we'll see how this one pans out, but I guess we're going to be reviewing this one here.
Yeah, in September.
In a couple of months.
Yep. Yep. I was just talking to some folks last night at the theater. It's going to be a very busy year for movies.
Yeah.
Started out really slow, But it's picking up. It's like every other weekend there's a new movie to to catch. We got After Earth. We got Thor 2.
Thor, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to Thor because I believe Natalie Portman's going to come back out in this one.
That is the thing that's making me not want to see it.
Really?
I cannot stand Natalie Portman at all.
Really?
She sucked in Star Wars. She's not been, and I hated her in the first Thor movie. I was like running down a list of different actresses that I would have rather seen in that role. Not her. I just can't stand her. So anyway, but I'm sure. But what's his face playing Thor? He does a good job. I really like the job he's doing with it.
Yeah.
Still to this date, my favorite line from him was from the Avengers. When they were complaining about Loki, he was like, "He's my brother," and they said, "Well, he killed. He's adopted." That's my favorite line.
No, mine is out of all of them. I like at the end when they're eating the sandwiches. That place,
the shawarma.
The shawarma. They're all just kicking back, all beat down, eating a sandwich. Shawarma.
Oh, did you hang to see the extra scene at the end of Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, this doesn't seem to be leading to another movie, but it places the whole movie in the context. Now you understand why it was narrated.
Yeah. Where he's like, I'm not that kind of a doctor.
Were you napping? That's great. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's do a little bit of administrivia here. There we go. Okay. Oh, I didn't update the date of the next meeting. That should be 19 June. Oh, I did update it. For some reason, it didn't save. So our next Dive Club meeting, contrary to what the sign up there says, it's actually 19 June, which of course Tara and I won't be here for, so you'll have to helm that one. We'll be just finishing up our trip. Oh, wait a minute, that's July. No, we will be for that one. So the one that's in July, we won't be here for. But so 19 June is actually the correct date. I wonder if it'll let me change that on the fly. Let's find out. Dun, dun, dun. Check this out. Through the magic of technology, it is now changed. Balmorhea State Park trips. We got June 14th through the 16th, July 19th through the 21st, August 16th through the 18th. And then upcoming open water scuba dive classes, June 27th through the 23rd. So you need to, all these you need to really sign up the first week of the month. That way I can get your student materials to you. Give you plenty of time for the self-study part. So June 27th through the 30th, July 24th through the 28th, August 22nd through the 25th, and September 26th through the 29th. And oh, by the way, these are all on the events calendar in Facebook, and therefore they're also on the calendar in our Dive Club website. So check that out. And as we talked about earlier, we've got the Tons of Steel dive trip to South Padre, Texas, 10 August. So, and that's $225 per person. So let us know. I'll go ahead and put a post on the Facebook page, and also we have that on our website. Definitely let us know if you're interested. And we want to get as many people participating as we can. But spaces are limited, and we want to get signed up sooner rather than later, because those trips, they only do the Tons of Steel once a month.
Oh, wow.
They have plenty of other dive trips, 2 clippers, 2 other ships and platforms, things like that. But they only do the Tons of Steel once a month. So the one for August is 10 August. So we'd love to see you participating in that. If you've never done a saltwater dive and you can't quite afford the big trip to, like going to Cayman or Cozumel or somewhere like that, this is your opportunity. So we'd love to see you there. You can get in touch with us by checking out our Facebook page /Del Rio Dive Club, or go to our website, delriodiveclub.com. You can also send us messages to Skype. Just look for 2 Guys Who Dive. And, of course, if you want to converse electronically, digitally with
me.
ScubaBob. That's right.
Yeah.
You can follow him on the Twitter. You can follow him on RS Garza 435, or you can send him an email.
Yeah, send me an email. I like reading emails.
He reads them personally. He does not have a person do it for him, even though he could. He's just that popular.
Because of sequestration, I had to let them go. But I will personally email you back.
That's right. So you can send me an email at rsgarza821@yahoo.com. Yahoo.
Yeah.
And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at RobertCFP, or you can send me email robert.wade@setifox.net.
City Fox.
That's right, Seti Fox. So we had a great time talking about all sorts of things, diving and non-diving. And as we are wont to do every episode, are you going to be here for next week's episode?
Yes, I am.
So it'd be cool if we were able to take some pictures and
some
stuff.
Pictures,
and get all
exactly. Hopefully everything will come together and we'll be able to do this dive this next weekend. We'll hopefully get pictures of everything that we can. Video, everything. We'll be able to share it with you.
That's right.
For next weekend. We'll hopefully looking forward to that.
So it's your opportunity to get on candid camera. And who knows, for those who aren't completely wiped out at the end of the day, we might want to grab a couple of our participants and have them come be on the podcast. That would be awesome.
That's right, Nikki.
That's right. You can do it. This is your chance to get back in the chair.
Get back in the chair, Nick.
So we always have a great time doing this podcast, and look forward to doing many, many more. And I'll be expanding other programming on the network as we go. But we always love to hear from you. It was great having Nick in the chat room. Yeah. You see how easy it is. You can participate. Just jump in there and be part of the conversation. We love to hear from you. I love to hear your comments, suggestions.
Remember, keep in mind, you don't have to be a diver to,
That's right.
To come in and just kind of be with us. We talk about a wide variety of things.
Yep. And we will even entertain some of your live on the air. We'll even entertain some of your topics. If it's not too off the wall, we'll even entertain those discussions. All you got to do is jump in the chat room and share.
Just jump in.
Share.
But if you are a diver and haven't logged to dive in a while, please come out. We'll be out hopefully Saturday.
Right.
Just join us. You don't have gear like Robert has offered to set you guys up. Trust me, we got you all covered.
That's right. That's right.
We got you covered.
If you're a certified diver and you haven't been diving for a while, if you want to arrange to meet a little bit earlier, because people are going to show up at different times. Some of them are not going to be there at 9:00. But if you want to, work out a deal to show up a little earlier, I can take you through a little refresher with the gear. We'll find one of the less swift current areas and just kind of take you through the reorientation, get you back up to speed, so you can help us out with all the work that we're going to be doing there.
Yeah.
Well, running over
about
an hour and a half. Yeah.
We're about right on time.
Par for the course. So we're done for this week, and we will see you next week on another exciting, fun-filled, fact-filled episode of Two Guys Who Dive.
Good night.
See ya.